The research station orbited the edge of known space, its metallic hull gleaming against the backdrop of distant stars. Dr. Elena Vasquez had spent 3 months working alongside the most diverse crew the galaxy had ever assembled. Representatives from 12 different species collaborated on breakthrough technology that could revolutionize interstellar travel. Among them was Jake Morrison, a quiet human engineer who kept to himself most days. He wore standard-issue coveralls, spoke in measured tones, and seemed unremarkable compared to the towering Altarians or the crystalline Nexari. Elena found his calm presence oddly comforting during the long shifts in the cramped laboratory modules. "The quantum resonance patterns are still unstable," Elena said, adjusting her scanner as she studied the experimental drive core. "We need to recalibrate the harmonic frequencies." Jake nodded from his position at the control console. "I can run diagnostics on the power couplings while you work on the resonance chamber." His hands moved with practiced efficiency across the interface, and Elena noticed how steady they remained, even during the most delicate procedures. She had worked with many engineers throughout her career, but few possessed his level of precision. The station's proximity sensors suddenly screamed warnings throughout the facility. Red lights bathed every corridor as the emergency klaxons echoed off the walls. Elena's heart raced as she watched the main display showing 3 massive warships emerging from hyperspace. "Unknown vessels, this is Research Station Harmony 7. Captain Torres announced over the communications array. You are entering neutral scientific territory. Please state your intentions." The response came in the form of energy weapons, tearing through the station's outer hull. The Vrakari hegemony had found them, and their reputation for enslaving conquered populations was well known throughout the sector. Elena watched in horror as escape pods launched from various sections of the station, many destroyed before they could reach minimum safe distance. "All personnel to emergency stations," Torres commanded. "Prepare for boarding action." Jake remained remarkably calm as chaos erupted around them, while other crew members panicked or rushed toward the evacuation zones. He methodically secured the laboratory equipment and sealed the critical research data. "We should get to the escape pods," Elena urged, grabbing his arm. "The pods are compromised," Jake replied, his voice carrying in strange certainty. "The Vrakari are using tracking torpedoes. They want prisoners, not casualties." Before Elena could ask how he knew this, the laboratory doors exploded inward. 6 heavily armored Vrakari soldiers stormed through the breach, their weapons trained on the remaining crew members. Their reptilian features were barely visible behind tactical visors, but their intentions were clear. "Surrender now, and you will be processed as valuable assets," the lead soldier growled in accented standard. "Resist and face immediate termination." Elena raised her hands, her mind racing through possible escape scenarios. The Vrakari were known for their brutal efficiency, and resistance seemed futile. She glanced at Jake, expecting to see the same resignation she felt. Instead, she witnessed something impossible. Jake's entire demeanor shifted in an instant. His shoulders squared, his stance widened, and his eyes took on a predatory focus that made Elena's breath catch. The mild-mannered engineer had vanished, replaced by something far more dangerous. "You made a mistake coming here," Jake said, his voice carrying an authority that resonated through the chamber. The lead Vrakari laughed, a harsh sound that echoed off the walls. "One human thinks to threaten the hegemony's finest warriors." Jake moved. Elena had never seen anything like it. He flowed between the soldiers like liquid mercury, his movements precise and devastating. The first Vrakari's weapon flew from his grasp before he could fire. The second found himself lifted and thrown into the bulkhead with bone-crushing force. The third managed to squeeze off a plasma bolt that Jake somehow deflected with a piece of laboratory equipment, The remaining soldiers tried to coordinate their attack, but Jake had already adapted to their tactics. He used their own weapons against them, turning their advanced technology into instruments of their defeat. Within moments, all 6 heavily armed warriors lay unconscious on the laboratory floor. Elena stood frozen, her mouth agape as she stared at the man she thought she knew. Jake breathed steadily, not even winded from the encounter. He methodically collected the Valkyrie weapons and checked each soldier for additional equipment. "Who are you?" Elena whispered. Jake looked up from his work, and for a moment she saw something ancient in his eyes. "Just a human, like I told you. Humans don't move like that. Humans don't fight like that." "You'd be surprised what humans can do when properly motivated," Jake replied, securing the last weapon. "We have a reputation in certain circles." Elena's mind reeled as she processed what she had witnessed. The stories about human warriors. "I thought they were myths. Most species prefer to think of us as harmless researchers and diplomats," Jake said, checking the corridor beyond the destroyed doorway. "It makes them more comfortable during peaceful interactions. But the training, the reflexes, the way you moved. Every human receives basic combat conditioning," Jake explained matter-of-factly. "We call it physical education. Some of us pursue advanced studies." The implications staggered Elena. If every human possessed even a fraction of Jake's capabilities, then humanity was far more formidable than any galactic civilization realized. They had been hiding their true nature behind a facade of scientific curiosity and diplomatic cooperation. "The Valkyrie boarding parties will discover their missing patrols soon," Jake continued, slinging one of the captured weapons across his shoulder. "We need to reach the command center and coordinate with the remaining crew." Elena followed him through the damaged corridors, her perception of humanity forever altered. She watched Jake move through the station with tactical awareness that spoke of extensive military experience. He identified potential ambush points, assessed structural damage, and planned their route with professional efficiency. "How many others know what humans are really capable of?" she asked as they reached a junction. "Anyone who has studied galactic history carefully," Jake replied. "Humans don't start wars, but we finish them. We prefer peace, but we excel at warfare when necessary." They reached the command center to find Captain Torres coordinating the defense with the remaining crew. The Valkyrie had taken significant casualties throughout the station, their initial confidence shattered by unexpected resistance. "Morrison," Torres called out, "good to see you made it. We could use your expertise with the station's defensive systems." Jake nodded and moved to the tactical console, his fingers dancing across controls that Elena suddenly realized were far more sophisticated than standard research equipment. The station had been armed all along, its weapons disguised as scientific instruments. "Defensive systems online," Jake reported. "Valkyrie vessels are withdrawing to reassess their strategy." Elena watched the enemy ships retreat on the main display, understanding that humanity's reputation as peaceful explorers was their greatest weapon. They moved through the galaxy as unassuming scientists and engineers, but carried within them the capacity for devastating warfare. "Welcome to the real galaxy," Jake said quietly, noticing her expression, "where appearances can be quite deceiving." Elena nodded, knowing she would never look at humans the same way again. Behind their friendly facades lurked warriors who could transform in an instant when threatened. She had learned that the most dangerous predators often appeared as harmless prey, and humanity had mastered this deception across the stars.